have worked out, and they've all increased their business, and it's worked. So when you start hearing it from executives in the business, you hear it from top producers in the business, and you start thinking, we gotta really check this out. So we really checked it out, and we've been using them in our office. Tom, which you'll hear from later, has been using their services and their coaching for the last 6 months with great results. And I started the executive coaching program, and I'm very excited about that. So I'm in. I'm a believer because I know who this program, this coaching has really impacted. And you're gonna be treated today to a real good interview here with Elyse. So Southwestern Consulting is the public speaking and sales training division of a 160-year-old Southwestern company. Southwestern is known worldwide for training salespeople how to become top producers in all industries. Just a side note to that is that if you understand what it takes to do something in one industry and cross that over into other industries, you really get the concepts and the coaching principles that really matter, because you can step back and understand what you really do because you've seen it in other places work extremely well. So it's a great concept. Elyse Archer is a sales and business coach with Southwestern Consulting, the owner of Six-Figure Sales Coaching, and a member of the Forbes Coaches Council. She graduated from the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill with a degree in journalism.
Can I get any love? Works better in North Carolina.
True. So, any Duke fans? Just kidding. So, when she realized her journalism salary wouldn't cover her shoe habit, she quickly pivoted into sales. She's been a top producer in all sales positions ever held and has trained thousands of sales professionals and business owners on what it takes to be a top producer in sales today. Her life philosophy and training style are both centered around the wisdom of Jim Rohn, who stated that in order to have more, you have to first become more. Outside of work, Elyse is co-founder of the Triangle Sales Think Tank, the co-host of the Linking into Sales podcast, and the founder of the New Outlook Project. She's passionate about animal rights, reading, and finding awesome vegan food, just like me. Big V. So really, Elyse is here just to share the techniques that will help really increase your individual production to preview an ongoing sales training program that we're offering you. And I told her that we've been talking and working together for months now, and she's had a change kind of just in this last 60 days, and so she had this happen, right? So her name really isn't Elyse Archer. And so, that it's a new kind of thing, you keep your name. I was kidding her, I said, you keep your name and you go to Robustelli. You go Elyse Robustelli. So we got the Italians in the back, and they go to Elyse Robustelli, right? And I said, it's like Tom with his wife Abby. It's like, she asked me, can I keep Deal? I said, sure, do whatever, I'm good, And so she went to Deal and she went to Deal Vic. Well, those are just 2 syllables. And I kid her, I said, Archer Robustelli. I don't even count those syllables. What are you going to do, right? What are you really going to do? But anyway, she's a good friend, and really great to have Southwestern Consulting on board with this to help you guys, and so she's really going to explain how to help it increase your production. So let's give a really warm welcome to
I told Dave I have to be able to spell Robustelli before I can make it my name, so we're not quite there yet. But anyway, thank you for that intro. That was amazing and wonderful, and just how my mom wrote it. So thank you. So guys, I know we've been sitting for a while, so I'm actually going to ask you to stand up. We're going to do a quick little exercise, get the blood flowing. Yeah, so there you go. Take Winston's lead, right? Scratch around a little bit. So we're going to do a quick exercise just to get the blood flowing again. Now this isn't going to be too weird. You're not going to have to touch anybody or anything. This is what? This is from your gym. This is from the, yeah, we're doing squats. Right? Not really. Nobody has to do that. But, so there's 3 steps to this exercise. So I want you to kind of look around your table. All right? And first turn to the person on your right. All right? So turn to the person on your right. Now Okay? Now guys, this is going to be the hard part. I want you to think really hard and turn and look back at the better looking of the two. Sit down, sit down. Guys, you had such a good opportunity there to kiss up to Dave and Mike. So there's 0 point to that exercise other than to make you laugh, okay? And so at Southwestern Consulting, there's a lot of different things that we believe in, but the first is really just giving people more laughter in their everyday life. So show of hands, how many of us feel like life is too short not to laugh and have some fun and cut up, right? Yeah, and in sales, sometimes like if we don't laugh, we will cry. So we're going to laugh today and we're going to have some fun. I don't take myself very seriously, so I don't expect you guys to either. Fair enough? All right. That could come back to bite me. The second thing that we believe in is teaching real sales techniques. And so today I'm going to be sharing a couple of sales techniques that you can go out and use in your own practices that you can feel confident will increase your results. So before I share with you a little bit about Southwestern, does everybody have, we've got these nice little brochures here. I think at that back table, the gentleman may be missing one. If you guys are at a table where there's an extra one, could you pass back? We probably need 4 of these to the back table. These are for you guys to take notes on. I will, okay, thank you. We've got a donation here, very good. We've got a few extras here. Just the note-taking guys. All right, so if anybody does not have one of these, raise your hand. Here. Thank you. Very good, okay. Help your neighbor out. So guys, those are yours to keep and write all over today. Now you'll probably see on that left-hand side, I'm going to be collecting those at the end. So don't put anything really important like your social security number on there, but you will notice that if I do a good job for you today, what do you think I might ask for again?
You're going to close us.
All of your money in your firstborn. No, if you know of anybody, you'll see there's a space for referrals. If you know of any sales managers or anybody else that you think might benefit from this, please feel free to share their information, and we'll do a referrals drawing at the end as well, so that's always fun. But before Dave introduced me, had any of you heard of the Southwestern Company? Is everybody familiar? Yeah, okay. How do you know us?
I have a couple of clients that go through your program.
Oh, very cool. Okay, very, very cool. Awesome. Yeah, so for those of you who aren't familiar, Southwestern is actually the oldest sales training company in the United States. So we've been doing this 160 years, since before the light bulb. Yeah, kind of crazy, right? Some of you are like, I feel it all. I feel it all sometimes. So we've been doing this since 1855, and we've got a number of different organizations. So everything from, we've got the #1 Raymond James office in the world. We've got, has anybody ever bought a Tom James suit? Largest custom clothier? Okay, thank you for your business. Anybody ever bought cookie paper wrapping dough for a school fundraiser before? Probably a lot of you. That's our company as well, so thank you for your business. But Southwestern Consulting, the group that I'm with, is the coaching and training division. So we've worked with over 10,000 different sales teams across every industry. We work with everything from small mom and pops all the way up to the teams at Google, Bridgestone, Verizon Cellular Sales. They hire us to help them create their sales processes as well. So it really kind of runs the gamut. We've worked across the globe. We've got a couple best-selling books. You know, all of this is just to say that if you like something I share with you today, you don't have to question whether or not it's going to work. We've already tried it out on other people for many years, so you can be confident in using any techniques we talk about today. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So one of the things that we've seen in working with so many top producers across really every industry is that there's 3 areas of your business where if you're going to go to that next level, you have to master these 3 areas. And as we talk about these, probably what will happen if you're like most people is you will say, yeah, I'm really solid in 1 or 2 of these, but this one area, I know that if I really picked it up a notch, I could probably get better results. And so you guys are going to want to start taking notes here, and you should have a triangle, an area on the right side of your paper where you can write this down. But the first area are your sales skills. So when I say the word sales skills, what are some of the things that come to mind? ability to talk, yes, absolutely. What else?
Humor and listening.
Humor and listening, yes. You can master those. A lot of them do good, right? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I say skills, that's going to be the more technical aspect of your business, right? So that's answering objections, closing techniques, prospecting. You know, when I think of skills, I think of one of my personal coaching clients, a guy named Jonathan Rose, who runs a company called Active Day Trader, actually based here in Chicago. And when he got into coaching, he was really good at what he did, teaching people. He was really struggling with closing. And so his business brought in $7,000 in April of last year when he first started working with us. And he was like, I'm going to have to shut this down and go work somewhere else if I can't make this happen. And we just really worked on his skills and how he was asking questions and closing. By December this year, his revenue was at $98,000 for that month, and he'll do $1.5 million this year. And it was just from him really honing in on those skills and improving in an area where he knew he needed some help. Second area, sales motivation. So does anybody in this room know one of those people where they could just like sell ice to an Eskimo? They kind of got it? Yeah? Is anybody one of those people? Yeah. I would guess in this room, there's a lot of people like that, right? You kind of just got it. You know, on the flip side, how many of us know someone who maybe is really excited and motivated and fired up about what they're doing, but they're struggling with selling? You know, that for whatever reason, they could be new to the industry, new to sales. Anyone know someone like that? Kind of like another one of my favorite Jim Rohn quotes, if you take an idiot and you motivate him, what do you get? No pointing. No pointing. You guys said that. I asked that question in another workshop a while back, and this woman goes, my husband. So yeah, motivated. So we can't just have the motivation piece. We also have to have the sales piece, but vice versa. You know, some of you in this room may be able to relate to, you've been doing this for a long time. And sometimes when we've been doing the same thing for a long time, what happens? It gets stale. Yeah, we lose our excitement. We lose our enthusiasm for what we're doing. We wake up every morning and we're like, why am I doing this? You know, my heart's not in it. I don't feel motivated the way I used to. And so a lot of our clients tell us that's actually why they get into coaching. So they say, you know what, I need someone to help me get back on the horse, help me get excited again about what I'm doing, and help me be fired up the way I used to be. So that's really, really critical. And then the third area are your systems. Now, regardless of any industry that we work within, I will tell you the number one thing that people tell us they want help with is what? Anybody have a guess? Time management, actually. I would guess if I asked everybody in this room, do you feel busy? The answer would probably be what? Yes. You guys are not lacking things to do, right? You probably feel like you're lacking hours in the day to do them all. Is that fair? Can we all kind of relate to that? So that's the number one thing that people actually work with us for, is just to get more time back in their day. To feel like they can actually be present when they're at home. They can be mentally there with their family. And then when they're at work, they're mentally home and they're not feeling guilty that they're not with their family. So these three areas are where when you can master great habits in each of these three areas, that's when you start to really soar and your business starts to excel. And really, what ties all of this together, though, guys, is accountability. At the end of the day, it's accountability. I mean, if you're like me, if you don't have someone holding you accountable to doing what you said you were going to do, sometimes you can let yourself off the hook, right? If we're being honest. I mean, I do. That's why I have coaches. And so that's what ties all of this together. And so at the end of my presentation today, guys, I'm going to share with you a little bit more about our coaching program and how it works. And you'll know in your gut if it's right for you. And if it is, we would absolutely love to work with you. And if it's not, then it's okay. We'll just never be friends. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. If it's not, that is totally fine as well. My goal in coming in today is to provide value, whether or not this is something that makes sense for you, but also to give you guys the opportunity, if it is something where you know in your gut is right for you, to go ahead and start working with us. Sound good? So, in working with so many top producers over the years, and I think everybody in this room would fall in this category, we've seen that there's really three things that they all do in common, regardless of their industry, regardless of their tenure, that help them go to the next level. They could already be a top producer, but they want to break through. And we talk about like doubling, quadrupling your income. There's three things that they always do to go to that next level. You guys want to know what they are? Would that be a good thing? Yes. All right, let's do it. So, the first one. Top producers find a way, not an excuse. If we're honest with ourselves, though, don't we all make excuses? What are some of the excuses that you guys have made in your business? I mean, this month, this week, today? I don't feel like it. Yeah? I don't feel like it. I mean, what about I don't have enough time? There's not enough hours in the day? The market? They'll do it tomorrow. Yeah, they'll do it tomorrow. That's a popular one too. We all make excuses. And I want to share with you guys a statistic that I learned from the Social Security Administration. And when I learned this, I was like, holy crap, you can't make excuses in your life or in your business. So according to the Social Security Administration, if you take any group of 100 people and you follow them from birth until retirement age, one of them will be wealthy. One. 4 are doing okay. They're not wealthy, but they're good enough to retire. They can live off of their savings. 5 are still working. Not because they want to, but because they have to. 36 will be dead. The remaining 54 are broke and dependent on the government or on their families to take care of them.
True.
So the moral of that story is if you do not want to end up like the 95%, you cannot think like the 95%. You cannot make excuses the way the 95% do. You cannot act the way the 95% do. When I think about this, I think about one of my clients, a guy named Dan Hunt. Love him to death. He's out in California. And when he got into coaching with us last year, he was like, I am so tired of being mediocre. He's like, I think about how I talk to myself all day long. I beat up on myself. I accept mediocrity for myself. I coach my kids in baseball and I tell them to be excellent, but I'm not. And so he's really been working on actually rewiring his self-talk. That's something that we don't always know, is we can actually rewire how we think to be programmed for success. And in the process of doing that, he's transformed just in the past couple of months. He's actually on the way to lose 100 pounds. His business is growing, and he's excited again. So we have to learn that our brains aren't wired to make us successful, they're wired to keep us safe. And that's one of the things that we often do in coaching with our clients is help you learn how to retrain your brain for success. Because a lot of times we're our own worst enemy, aren't we? So that's the first habit. Second habit is that top producers are students of their game. Now I'm always curious when I go into rooms like this, show of hands, how many of you knew that this is what you were going to be doing when you went to school? Not all of us. Okay, that's really common, right? Like, none of us really planned to go into something sales related. And it's funny, something happens along the way, life happens, and we end up in a sales related role, right? But how many of us treat this opportunity? You now have the opportunity to make more money and be more successful, probably than whatever you went to school for, right? But how many of us treat it the same way that we did when we were back in school? Kind of crazy, isn't it? One of my favorite stories about this comes from one of our co-founders, a guy named Dustin Hillis, and he was doing a workshop at a RE/MAX office out in California. So he's doing the workshop, and the whole time there's this older gentleman in the front row. He's kind of just like mean mugging him. You guys ever been mean mugged? Some of you are mean mugging me right now. Yeah, he's just mean mugging him.
Only by my wife.
Only by your wife, okay. So he's giving him this look, and at the end of the workshop, he stands up, and Dustin's a little bit concerned. He's like, I haven't been getting a good vibe from this guy. What's he gonna say? And he stands up and he turns to the rest of his team. And he says, you know what, guys? I've been to a bunch of sales trainings. I've read a bunch of sales books. I've been through a number of coaching programs. This actually seems like the real deal. Not only am I gonna do it, but I highly recommend that the rest of you guys do it too. Now, Dustin is pleasantly surprised, of course, that this is what he says, so he goes back to meet with the guy afterwards and find out who he is. And it turns out the gentleman's name was Frank Liu. Does anybody know who Frank Liu is? So Frank Blue is actually the #1 RE/MAX dealer in the nation. And his team had been in the top 1% for the past 15 years. So dude's doing something right? So Dustin goes to meet with him and really just pick his brain. He's like, wow, I've got the opportunity to learn from this top producer. What does he attribute his success to? How has he been so successful all of these years? And Frank said, Dustin, I live by the philosophy that the day I stopped learning is the day I started dying. Dustin shared that same belief, and he was like, yeah, that's been my life philosophy as well. Where did you hear that from? And Frank said he was at a Jim Rohn conference several years back, and from the stage, Jim had said something that just stuck with him. He said, a formal education will get you a job, but a self-education will earn you a fortune. And so I want to challenge each and every one of you today. Are you being a student of the game? Are you maximizing the opportunity that you have right here, right now? Now, for some of you, that could be doing our coaching program. Wonderful if it is. For others of you, it could be something else, and that's fine too. Right? But how are you being a student of the game and continuing to learn and grow in this opportunity that you have? Now, I want everyone to take a moment and write on your paper, on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you stand right now? Today. Scale of 1 to 10. Let me tell you what they are before you write a number down. So, a 10 is going to be somebody who is just, they're on fire. They have amazing momentum built up. They're excited about what they're doing. They're hitting their goals. On the family side, they're really happy there. Like they're feeling good at home. At work, they show up, they're productive, they do their thing, they continue to hit their goals at work. Nothing's stopping them. They're what we would call an unstoppable force. Now, a 1 is going to be somebody who probably set some goals at the beginning of this year. Maybe can still remember what they are if they go search for them. But they wake up Monday morning. The first thing they do is probably check their email inbox. Oh, here's a fire I got to put out. Okay. And then your whole week becomes a process of just chasing, right? Constantly playing catch up. Feeling guilty for the fact that when you're at work, you're thinking about your family. Man, I'm not showing up for them. When you're with your family, you're working, right? Maybe you got your laptop pulled out the whole time. Catch up on emails. So take a minute, write down whatever your number is. You don't have to share it with the group, it's just for you. Look up in your phone. So guys, what I want you to ask yourself is if you're not a 10, or give yourself a little bit of leeway, right? Maybe like an 8. If you're not close to a 10 though, on most days, what is that costing? Notice I say what and not how much. Because for some of us in this room, it's costing money. And it's costing a lot of money. It could be that dream home. It could be the kids going to the schools that you want them to go to. It could be that vacation in Bora Bora. But for others of us, the cost is worse. And it's guilt. It's the guilty feeling that you have when you're at home and your family wants to hang out with you. But you just have all these emails to catch up on. The kids are yelling for you, they want to hang out, they want to see you. Your wife or husband wants to spend time with you. But you just feel like there's so much to do. Or maybe you have to cancel dinner plans last minute with your spouse or something at work comes up that's more important. So think about it and what it's costing you. And is it a little or is it a lot? This ties in with the third and final habit, which is to take action now. One of our co-founders is a guy named Rory Naden. Has anybody ever heard of Rory or read this book? Yeah? Are we Rory fans in here? Cool. I'm a fan too. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so Rory wrote this book called Take the Stairs. If you guys have not read it, you are going to want to read it. I promise you it will be one of the best business and sales books you ever read. But in Take the Stairs, Rory talks about the #1 killer in business today? Starts with a P. Anybody have a guess as to what it is? Procrastination. Show of hands. How many of us would openly admit that we procrastinate? Who's going to raise your hand later? And he actually, we've coined a term where it's actually a little bit more insidious than just normal procrastination, but it's creative avoidance. Can anybody relate to having a lot of things on your plate to do for that week, and some of it involves prospecting? Yeah, we somehow always find a way to do email first, and I've got to check on this paperwork, I've got to work on this case, I've got to work on these files, and then you get to the end of your day and like, shoot, well, I'll do my prospecting tomorrow. Anybody relate to that? Yeah? How does that impact your business? Yeah, devastating. I mean, it's a strong word, but it's true, right? When we consistently put off the things that actually grow our practice, and we get really good at this. It's really easy to convince ourselves that we're busy, but we're just busy being busy, right? And so you guys are going to want to write this down. It's tied to something that we call the law of diminishing intent, a disease called LODI. It's what we abbreviate it for short. LODI simply means that the longer that we wait to take action on our most important priorities, the less likely they are to actually happen. Right? So when you know that you need to do something and you question yourself and put it off, what usually happens? It doesn't get done. Yeah, it doesn't get done. And so guys, in coaching, one of the things that you do is you partner with your coach to identify, well, in my day, what are the things I actually do that make me money? And usually that list is very small, right? Usually it's prospecting or meeting with clients or getting referrals, right? I mean, that's really it. And then you track how much time you actually spend on those activities every week. And it's usually shocking how little time you spend on it. And it kind of hurts when you first realize that. But what your coach will help you do is figure out, how do I prioritize these things in my day? How do I create a schedule where I actually do these things? And then hold you accountable to actually doing them. Doesn't mean you're going to be perfect. But can you guys see how having some accountability around doing what you said you were going to do would help you follow through? Show of hands? Yeah, it's a game changer. And so guys, that was the motivational portion. Who's motivated? One person, 2 people. Good, okay. All right, so we're going to do a quick little break and we're going to transition into just a little bit of skills training. Before we do that though, I want to give you guys a bonus for spending some time with me today. And you guys have been sitting for a while, but nobody has fallen asleep, so I appreciate that. So for spending some time with me today and being so awesome and such a good audience, I'm going to give you a free training. And it's actually really good. It's the secrets of top producers. It's our co-founders, including Rory, their best of the best habits and secrets that they've used to go to the next level. So it's a 7-day video training. You can buy it on our website for $199, but for you guys for being here today, you get it as a bonus. So if you want to receive it, simply send an email to Elyse, swcbonus@gmail.com. So it's ELYSE, swcbonus@gmail.com. You put your first name in the subject line and hit send. And that'll also set you up to receive our monthly sales and leadership tips as well. So it gives us a way to stay in touch with you and add value to you as well. So as we transition into the sales skills portion, and actually I think this will be very appropriate for today, how many golfers do we have in the room? Like the whole group, right?
I'm here to play golf, but...
So for those of you who are golfers, how many clubs are in a standard PGA bag? 14. Yep. I have 15, one with a claw on the end, scoop the ball out of the water, you know. But when you look at pro golfer, why would a pro golfer need so many different clubs? Why couldn't they just use one?
Really awesome.
Different shots, exactly, because you run into different situations on the golf course.
King Crackers need to set there.
I don't know what that means, sorry. And so as we transition into talking about the cycle of the sale, on the back of your handout, you'll see there's 7 spaces there for the 7 steps of the sales process. So this will probably all look somewhat familiar to you guys. I know we're all top producers, so we've all done sales training before. But as I go through these, what I want to encourage you to do is on the areas where you know you're really solid, like put a little star next to those, right? And pat yourself on the back for it. On the ones where you know that you're probably not as good if you're honest with yourself, circle those, right? Because there's all areas we can improve in. And this is part of why sales is so much like golf, right? Because you're going to run into different situations where you need different tools. And I meet some sales professionals who are really amazing prospectors. They love getting in front of people. They love meeting new people. But they feel weird about closing. They feel uncomfortable with it. So they're what we would call professional visitors. Or I meet some people who are, man, I am a closer. Do we have any closers in here? Yeah? Good, a few, okay.
Not you, Bill.
So they're like, man, I am a closer. If you just get people in front of me 1 out of 2 times, I'm going to close them. But they don't know how to prospect and fill their pipeline. They don't know how to ask for referrals. And so their business isn't where it should be. And so do just like a gut check as we go through this to see where you are. So the first step of the cycle of sales is going to be your pre-approach. Okay? Now this is everything that you're doing that leads up to that initial contact with somebody. So that could be sourcing leads, right? It could be finding out about the leads ahead of time. One of the things you'll learn to do in coaching is get past gatekeepers, right? When you're calling on clients, how do you actually reach them? How do you get out of that voicemail back and forth phone tag thing that can be really frustrating, right? A lot of our clients tell us it's just really frustrating trying to get in touch with my prospects. So that's going to be the first step. Second step, probably not shocking, the approach, right? Who in here has heard of the 7-second rule? It's not how long you have to pick up your food. But we are all forming impressions of each other within 7 seconds of meeting. Your prospects are deciding whether or not they like you. Now this is when you call them or when you meet them in person within 7 seconds. 7 seconds, right? And one of the things that you learn in coaching is what your personality style is and the fact that, well, there's 3 others who aren't like you, right? And if we don't learn to adapt our approach to the way somebody else prefers to communicate, then we're missing people. We're missing people, you know? So you'll learn about the 4 different personality styles and how to adapt your approach, even from how somebody answers the phone, to how their office is decorated, to how they shake your hand. You know, one of my clients is a guy named Jonathan. He's a financial advisor here in Chicago. Different Jonathan. But what he shared with me about why he did coaching is he was like, I'm a detective personality. I'm very analytical. And I just realized as we were talking that I get along really well with about 25% of the people out there who are like me. I'm losing 75% of my opportunities because I'm not changing my approach at all. It's like, wow, if I could just learn how to adapt to different personality styles, that would be a game changer. So that's critical, right? Now, after the approach is going to be your initial contact with somebody. We go into the introduction. Now, this is where we're questioning, qualifying, probing to find out what somebody's needs truly are. This is where the sale is actually made, guys. Okay? This is where the sale is made. A lot of us think the sale is made in the presentation or in the close or in the pre-approach. But this is it. Right? When you learn to really dig deep and ask questions that create emotion from your prospects. Do people buy based off of logic or emotion? Emotion, right? So this is where you're going to learn how to dig deep, how to ask second-level questions that move people emotionally, enough to the point where they're actually ready to commit to working with you. Presentation, we all pretty much know what that is, right? This is where you're presenting what you have to offer. But a lot of the things we don't always think about are, well, how do I incorporate vocal variety into my presentation? Right? So how do I change it up? How do I use the 4 quadrants of vocal variety? Am I using stories that express what I'm trying to express, that sell for me? Right? So you will learn all of that. Now, move on to the close. I wish they always said yes, right? Sometimes they don't though. But let me just ask you this, how many closes do you guys know? Like what are your go-to closes?
Give me a checkbook and I'll show you how it works.
That's solid. This is a closer right here, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. That was very assumptive. So when we talk to most average salespeople, they may have 2 different closes. So they may have the assumptive, what would make more sense for you to get started, today or Wednesday? All right? The paperwork close, all I need you to do is sign the paperwork. But in an average selling situation, you're going to run into 5 different objections. So if we only have 2 closes and we have 5 objections, what happens?
Three more.
You better have 3 more. Yeah, you start sounding kind of like that used car salesman thing, like you start sounding pushy, a little bit cheesy when you're helping close people, right? And so in coaching, you're going to learn there's actually 15 different closes, everything from the crystal ball close to the T-bar Benjamin Franklin close to the choice of 2 positives. You'll work with your coach to pick your top 5 that you feel most comfortable with, so that you don't sound pushy, you don't feel uncomfortable during that closing process, and neither does your prospect. Okay? Now, like I said, sometimes they say yes, sometimes they give us objections, right? Again, you'll work with your coach on how to develop stories that answer those objections. And then finally, referrals. Okay? Now, I know when I ask people, you know, are you good at asking for referrals? Do you get referrals? Usually they say, yeah, of course I get referrals. But again, I want you to do a gut check and think back to your last meeting, whatever that was. How many referrals did you get? Think about how your practice might look different. You're getting 5, 10, 15, 20 referrals a week. Would that be a good thing? Are you excited about that? So guys, in the interest of time, I'm going to skip through just a couple pieces here. But at the end of the day, it's really all about building momentum for you and helping you become an unstoppable force in your business. And so to demonstrate the power of momentum, we're going to do a quick little exercise. Okay? So I want everybody to just repeat after me. All right? So everybody say coast.
Coast.
Silk.
Silk.
Coast.
Coast.
Silk.
Silk.
Spell coast.
Coast.
C-O-A-S-T. Spell silk. S-I-L-K. Coast. Silk. Coast. Silk. What do you put in a toaster?
Toast.
Toast.
Red.
Bread. Yes. Ow. So what did we do there? We built some. We built some momentum. Now, some of you guys are looking like you'd like to redeem yourselves a little bit. So I'm going to give you one more opportunity. I love the energy. I love the enthusiasm. Let's bring it even a little bit more, okay? Everybody repeat after me. Coast.
Coast.
Silk. Coast. Silk. Spell coast. C-O-A-S-T. Spell silk. S-I-L-K. Say coast. Silk. Coast. Silk. What a cast drink.
Water.
How many of you guys are sitting there going, bread? How many of you guys have had some fun with me today? Show of hands.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome. I've had some fun with you as well, so thank you. And guys, we're going to transition to talking just a little bit about the program. You guys think it'd be a good idea to learn just a little bit more, see what this is all about? Cool. Okay. Question. What do these people have in common on this slide? Top performers. Yeah. And this actually ties in with something Dave was saying before. Every single person on this slide, they have a coach, right? Top performers have a coach. And so I want to share with you just a little bit about our program and how it works. And like I said, you'll know if it's right for you. And if it is, wonderful. We'd love to get started with you. If it's not, that is completely fine too. But I'm going to spend just a couple minutes sharing with you about how it works and really how to know if it's even something that would be a good fit for you as well. So there's 3 primary benefits, and everybody should have a sheet in front of them that explains it. But I would just say for this portion, let's just take this really seriously. Again, this is very much a gut check. Let's look inside and see if this is something that really is home with you or not. First benefit, guys, is increasing your income. Our average client will grow 23% in 12 months. I think Jamal Alvarado out of California is a really good example of this. He's been coaching with one of our coaches, Matt, for about a year, and he compared his first 4 months of 2017 and his first 4 months of 2016. He quadrupled. What you were talking about before, Dave, it is possible. He quadrupled. Second benefit, get more time back in your day, right? I mean, I know we're talking about today a lot of different options, and it can feel like information overload, and you may feel like, holy crap, there's just not enough hours in the day to even incorporate something new. I would say that's actually the #1 reason why people do get into coaching, is to have someone who can help kind of guide them through what's the one thing that you can do today that's going to get you more hours back into your day and help you be more efficient and effective with your time. Jim Pasco with Innovative Financial Group in Tennessee, I think, is a really good example of that. And that's actually exactly why he got into coaching, because he felt like he didn't have enough time. He said, I'm not okay with that. So he's been working actually with Shelly, who Tom you work with as well, just to help him really refine his systems. And one of the things that he noticed in working with her is he was spending way too much time on his cases. She helped him create some new systems for them, as well as how to delegate better to his assistant. He has hours back every week now to spend with his family. And the cool thing is, along the way, he also lost 25 pounds. So, side benefit, this way if you want to. This is not my slide. Okay. Well, and then the third and final benefit, guys, is that you improve your motivation, right? Increase your confidence. And I think another one of our clients is a good example of that, Ryan Jewell with Sound Financial out of Seattle. And when he got into coaching, he was already a top producer. But what he said is, I just need somebody to basically be that second set of eyes to see my blind spots, to look and see where I'm not, like where I'm missing it, where am I not seeing where I can improve. And having that second set of eyes and his coach, Kristen, his brokerage grew by 567% within 9 months. And the cool thing for him was, because he got better at asking for referrals, he started waking up to referrals in his inbox every morning. Clients would take him around their office and introduce him to other people. So really just amazing growth there. And actually, Tom, if you don't mind sharing just a little bit, we've got a coaching client in the room. If you want to share for just a minute or two about some of your results.
You want me to go up there?
Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I started with you guys back in December. I started talking to you, and we started actually working in January with Shelly. And one of the big things that I struggled with right off the bat, and I didn't think I struggled with this because I learned time management from Dave Vick. Dave Vick is, he's like a tyrant in our office, sometimes. But he'll sit you down and say, look, block out your week. And what are the hours that you spend on prospecting? What are the hours that you spend on calling your actual advisors, making sure that you're the overwatch for them, that they know about the new products, that they know about PT 8424, a big one, right? And I was doing that, but my dad and he's my dad. How am I going to be accountable sometimes? To dad, right? Dad will say, oh, you should try this, you should try this. I don't know if that's going to work. But to have a different voice in my head, other than his, was something I really, really needed. And nothing against you at all. My first sales coach ever was my dad. And he brought me up into a dinner seminar and taught me how to sell trust when I was 13 years old. And Ruth's Chris. I mean, that's how I started. But Shelly and Elyse and what they've been giving me for the past 6 months have been what I needed to each week stay on task, stay focused, follow the course. And another thing that they gave me was content. The amount of videos and white papers and coaching modules and things that you get from teaming up with Southwestern are those little pieces of sales ideas and marketing ideas and things that you need from time to time to keep your creativity up and to get away from becoming stale. That's one of the biggest things that I think is my thing that I'm working on is the staleness. I mean, after the DOL came out last year, at Vick and Associates, we were like, we're an AFMO. How are we going to pay for the liability costs for a compliance department? Are we going to become an RA? Are we going to be bought? Are we going to sell? What are we doing? Are we going to financial planning? All these options. Okay? And then when we finally chose to go with DBHC and make that move, and just the connection that Mike and Dave had and renewed that connection was super special. You guys saw that. That was awesome. But just that whole transition and not having, I didn't have a sales coach at that time. And now I finally do have that person who's in my corner, and I can go to them and say, this week was rough, or this week was great. Now let's look at it. Let's break it down. The sales process and things that they just showed me right there, I've been going through some of that as well. And some of you, how many use ABC sales process? How many? Just everybody. I mean, everyone started there, right? But you got to innovate. You got to get customized to your area and your clients that you're seeing on a day-to-day basis. And that's another thing that Shelly, my sales coach, has been able to help me do, is figure out individual advisor's story. And start caring about your guys' stories, because they're all different. You come from different walks of life, and the way that you guys make decisions and require coaching and that kind of thing, it's all different. And so they've been helping me break down how I can coach you guys better, but more importantly, talk to people who are still out in the industry and are lost, they don't have a home. They've been doing FMO hopping. Every 3 months it's a new IMO. And they haven't found it yet. And they've been helpful to help me put that story together about Now Simplicity Financial and convey that story to everybody. So I really encourage you, get in the program. If you don't have a coach, I would sign up with them. So, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so notice we're testing out all of ours. It's not going to charge your credit card to touch it, so nobody freak out, all right? But I'll explain to you just a little bit more about the program and how it works. And so, really, there's 3 things that happen in coaching, 3 things that you get. And the first is you get paired up with a one-on-one coach. It's not group training. It's not a group course. It's one-on-one. So we're a team of 100 coaches throughout the country. All of us have been top producers for at least 10 years. All of us still actively sell today. You'll get paired up with the right person for you based on your personality style and your goals, whether you're more focused on sales, leadership, time management, whatever that is. You're on the phone with them twice a month doing customized calls. We're looking at what's that one thing that if we could put in place, help you put in place in your business today, would help you grow, right? That's what we're focused on. In between those calls, there's accountability. If you need someone to reach out to, you need someone to review a presentation, your coach is there, all right? In addition, Tom mentioned we've got some supplemental training modules. We'll help you set up whatever your revenue goal is on the front end of coaching, and then we've got online activity tracking to help you make sure you're on track for that as well. And really, at this point, a lot of times people are like, okay, this sounds good. I think it would be good for me, but how do I know if I would get the results I'm looking for? And this is important, guys, and you have to be able to say yes to these 3 things in order for us to say yes to you and say, yeah, let's do this, it'll make sense. And the first is, are you coachable? Are you really coachable and open to taking new feedback? That's part of why Tom has been so successful, is because he is coachable. Are you committed? It's a 12-month program. It goes month to month after that. Are you committed to that? And then third and final, are you ready for change? We all know the definition of insanity, right? And the same thing over and over again. Yeah, and so are you truly ready for that? Not everybody is, but if you are, then we'd love to work with you. And so probably at this point, you guys are saying, okay, sounds good. How much is it, right? Question, and I know there's pricing on the sheet. So just to give you guys some context, a lot of our clients have paid $2,000, $1,500. I personally pay $1,500 a month for my coaching. Our program is just $525 a month. And that's what most of our clients say. They're like, yeah, I need just a couple more clients a year in order to make that make sense. And working with somebody one-on-one, there's no way I can't make more money and also be more fulfilled, happier as well in what I'm doing. So I know, Dave, you wouldn't have brought me in unless this is something you believed in. So I'd love to turn it over to you, just if you want to share your honest thoughts. And I know we're in a little bit of short time, so we'll keep it short and sweet. But yeah, just your opinion on it as well. And guys, let's give him a round of applause.
So my thing is this: I really believe that everybody needs a coach. I don't want you to consider this. I want you to do it. There's a real disconnect sometimes when we sit and listen to somebody as good as Elyse is from a company as good as they are that actually have the results, and we think, oh, that sounds really good. That sounds really good. I think I might want to whatever. You know what? There's a real disconnect sometimes between intentions and actually making it happen. And I don't want you to intend to do something. I actually want you to take action on it. That's the only way, I think, taking action on something this good, this proven good, is going to really change your practice and change your life. And so we have several people who are already taking action on the program, have already committed to it. And so we really want to do that. By the way, your profit dollars, your marketing dollars, profit dollars will count toward this. You can pay for it with profit. And so I'm not going to encourage you at all to do it. I'm going to tell you, do it. Okay? Just from me to you, honestly, from me to you, this is how strongly I feel about it. you really, really can benefit from this program and from their coaching. You need a coach, everybody needs a coach, and these guys really get it right and get it done. So I think that's about as strong as I can make that recommendation.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Dave. Guys, I'm going to walk you through for just a couple of minutes the process to get enrolled, and if there's anybody who wants to talk to me one-on-one afterwards, I'll be in the back table. But I'm going to go ahead and walk you through. So at this point, everybody's in one of three categories. All right? You're a 1. If you're a 1, you're like, I'm in. I know this makes sense. I know I need to do it. Awesome. Put a 1 in the upper right-hand corner of this and start filling it out. If you're a 2, it means I think I'm in. Sounds pretty good, but I've got a really specific question for you, Elyse. I'm special. I'm just kidding. I want to talk to you one-on-one. So if that's you, put a 2, start filling it out. A 3 is going to be, it's not for me, for whatever reason, and that's okay too. And if that's you, put a 3 at the top. But guys, we have partnered with Simplicity to put together a couple of special bonuses for you guys. This is something that you do, and so in the middle, you'll want to start writing this in the middle here, okay? So everybody should be writing this. The first is you're going to get our entire training library, all right? Books, resources. I know that that probably sounds like a lot, and usually there's a slide to show you what it is, but there's not, so just use your imagination. We've got some video training, we've got some books as well. This is really just to give you an archive of materials that whether you use them this year, next year, pass them on to your team, we want to give you everything you could ever need to be successful in sales. We put together some really special things as well with Simplicity. The first is we're going to be doing basically like a group training mastermind just for clients of Simplicity. Once a month, I'll be leading it, and that's where we're going to be able to dig deeper on topics like navigating personality styles, closing techniques, time management. And that's going to be fun because we're going to be doing some co-creation with that. So whatever it is that you guys want a little extra reinforcement in, we'll be focusing on that. And so I'll be training you guys on that half an hour, once a month, not a whole lot of time. And then the third and final thing, and we're not doing this with anybody else, so this is pretty cool, but Rory, who I told you guys about, he actually has a private mastermind. So he doesn't coach one-on-one anymore, he just doesn't have the capacity. He created a private mastermind where twice a month he's leading group coaching calls. One of them is about how to multiply your time. And then you also have a choice of whether you want to do a leadership call. You can do a servant selling call, right? How to sell with integrity and close with integrity. Or you can also do something called the $1 Million Speaker Track. If any of you are looking to get into speaking or improve your speaking skills, he actually came in second in the World Championship of Public Speaking when he was in his 20s. So you're learning from one of the best public speakers in the world, and he'll coach you on that too. So you get to pick on those topics. That's normally $99 a month, but you guys get that as well. And so, again, a lot of this is pretty self-explanatory, but if you're at 1, 2, or even a 3, start filling out the top portion, guys. And then if you have questions, I can meet with you one-on-one afterwards. But again, it's pretty basic, but name, email, that's where you're going to receive your assignment to your coach. Your birthday, you can put the year or you can lie about it, but I just like to send out birthday gifts to people. In the middle here, you'll see there's 3 different programs. Top Producer's Edge is going to be if you're a producer and you're not leading a team. That's going to be advanced sales and productivity. Manager's Edge is if you're leading a team. That's going to be a focus also on recruiting, leadership, holding great meetings, how to have tough conversations with people, right? And you'll also get access to the Top Producer's Edge curriculum there. And then executive level coaching, that's just really taking it a step up, who you're working with. That's where you're working with one of the co-founders of our team.